Just waiting for YouTube to connect. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back. I'm going to try and make sure this table doesn't bounce. I'll turn the chat on, if it'll work. Okay. Now we're here to do the update. And that is for Valentine's Day, the energy per zodiac sign. I've already done the first video. The battery was dying, so I had to recharge it. Now we're going to do Leo Sagittarius next. So I'm going to do it for singles, couples, and twin flames. Back again. Sorry, the battery was flat. Hi, Antonella. How are you? So we've got Facebook and YouTube. At some point, I'm going to do an update on Instagram. I'm getting there. Okay, now, as I said, remember with what's going on with astrology at the moment, there's a lot of energies. You know, there's a lot of frustration, so we're not operating on all systems. It's I've already done the first one. This is part 2. So I've done Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Aries, and that's in the previous one. I'll name it after. And I'm going to now do Leo and Sagittarius. If I have time and it doesn't take too much, I may go on to do the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and the rest of them tonight. It's my garden. Yeah. That's my therapy, my garden. Hi, Les. Okay. I've already done Virgo, but you can look at your signs or your partner's sign and see whatever's coming through. Virgo's in the previous video. It'll already be on the page, so you can have a look at it there. Okay. Now, if you are wanting to make a booking, be it you're on Facebook or YouTube, the information is on each page or directly under the video. If you have any inquiries, jump through to the website and the booking page is there. Now, okay. Virgos. Not Virgos. What am I on about? Now I'm thinking about Virgos because you mentioned it, Leslie. Okay, Leo. I feel some of you don't quite know what to do. And I feel this is an energy coming through with a particular person. So it's to do with what way to go, how to deal with it. Yep, sun and rising. You don't quite know how to deal with the situation. Now, you guys have had a lot going on. And at the same time, this is for singles. Collectively as well, I do feel all of you are in sort of this, you know, how do I deal with this situation? There's a situation. You're worried about your finances. You know, it might be you're working too hard, or it may be that energetically you've just put too much energy directly into a situation. You're like, okay, am I getting what I wanted out of this? But you might feel that you've really invested so heavily into a road or a way of being that you're not quite sure how to get out of it, okay? Some of you also might be working during that date, which is kind of affecting you and thinking all work, no play. It's not balanced. You're also trying to change your ways with something. So the way you deal with relationships, the way you look at relationships, you actually energetically are changing, be it you want to or not. Other people might quite not know why, and it can be triggering them. So you've got to be really careful, especially for those of you who are directly dealing with somebody at the moment. They're not going to quite come from your perspective, but I do see you guys really assessing a connection, and that's for those of you who are single. Again, I do feel there's people that are interested, but you've really got your mind on your money and your money on your mind. It's like you're trying to get, and the nodes at the moment are in Cancer and Capricorn. Now, the nodes go, it's almost like they gradually go backwards, okay, which is almost like a reflective state to be in your family life, in what the foundation is. With the nodes in Capricorn, for everyone individually, it also means that we're strictly looking at our career, our finances, as well as what is home to us, what is right, what we want for our future in relationships. This reflective energy is coming through for you guys. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, on the 18th, we have Chiron, which is the wounded healer. It's moving from, bloody typical, it's moving from Pisces through to Aries. Now, when it does that transition, what you're going to find is it's going to get to a point where you're going to be more assertive. So Mercury's going retrograde as of March, but you have the shadow aspect. So a lot of the energies that's coming through is miscommunication, very dominant, this is the way I'm going. So there's this energy of us moving forward, but at the same time, it can be at a trigger point. So we can come across quite sharp with people, even moving into Valentine's Day. And with communication energy of Mercury in shadow period, what it does mean is communication can be off. So there can be cross wires, things said that aren't necessary. It's not the most romantic time, so although we can have that date and it says, hey, we're moving into Valentine's Day, let's do X, Y, and Z. I wish for this, I wish for that. Yes, we should always be in that frequency if we're coming from heart chakra. Astrologically speaking, like I mentioned in the previous video, it's like turning up to a lamb roast dinner, on the weekend. You've got the cutlery ready, but there's an apocalypse happening and you're wondering why it's not romantic. You can look at the astrology. Be mindful of the energy that we're going through a transition. All of us are trying to get the firm foundation, know directly where we're going. 2018, all of us collectively were doing a lot of work, emotionally speaking. So if you're having that lackluster in that energy, Leo, and that's for anyone regardless connected to astrology, there's the reasons why. So you've got to have that understanding towards yourself, is that you're wanting to build Noah's Ark, or Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're all trying to have that right here, right now, because we've done a lot of work last year. Any partnered energy, there can be conflict with them. There can be crosswise. So it might be you're working too much, and the person or the interest you have singles, this person, they're overwhelmed at the moment with some 3D situations going on. You're focused directly on the finances. Now, even if you haven't deemed it as a relationship and you might be in one and you're testing the waters, I feel there's two differing ways that this Leo individual is doing things. But I feel you're just trying to focus very much on the essentials, the very 3D. And again, I'm not feeling a super romantic time. You're also changing. So if there were any habits and trigger points, I do feel emotionally speaking, you're really honing on them, and you're looking at it and you're going, I don't know if I want to be this way anymore. I don't know if this is for me. So I feel spiritually the counterparts energy of Leo is going through a transformation. So even if you're not with this person, but you're directly in love with them, they're actually seeing on their side of the fence, there's a lot of conflict in their life. And they're trying to let go of that conflict and move forward because it's no longer connecting with them. It's not a healthy environment. For Leo, though, I do feel you're very focused on your finances, but you need to directly understand you don't equate to just finance. You're more than that. So it might be your self-esteem directly is linking in with that temporarily, or it could be directly just 3D situations and you're going, I really, it's in order for me to spiritually move forward. But again, you're balancing too. So it's strange. I'm actually feeling for singles, there is a pocket of you at the moment, which I have pulled cards for twin flames. I feel the energy of twin flames coming through in the singles. And that's because you guys are mirroring each other. Both of you are getting to a point you're balancing your energies out, but you're doing the work on your own first, okay? So romantically speaking, if you're wondering, is it going to be romantic? What's going to be happening? It is. It's just not looking the way you think it's going to be. Yeah, you're really understanding that you need to let this flow. You need to let this situation flow. There are things that are coming into play. Anything on your side of the fence you need to deal with at a 3D level, especially in relation to communication. get the communication done now, because next week is going to be really difficult. We're not going to communicate correctly. If we are, it's going to be coming from a pain body experience, an ego-based experience, or fear-based frequency, because Mercury is retrograde, which is communication, travel. Not the best time to have operations. Again, I'm not a doctor, but astrologically speaking, doesn't bode the best. Don't buy anything connected to technology. So don't go buy a laptop or and again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it's a bad time, energetically speaking, for devices to go pear-shaped. Internet can go flicky. You could buy a new device and it doesn't work correctly. So keep your receipts, read the fine print, try not to sign contracts. Again, very separate to me being an advisor. That's astrologically speaking. So if you were ready to go into a sexual contract with a person, I do feel very much for those of you who are single, you're dealing with things on your side of the fence first. If your twin contacts you next week, you just deal with it. I mean, but be in mindfulness. You know, it's not, we can't avoid aspects of life and conflict from mindfulness when things are happening, and be aware why things are happening, that things aren't flowing because of X, Y, and Z. And then you understand why those things are happening. It's not from a point of view of there's something wrong with me, more there's dynamics going on at play that is making that harder. Okay, first card off the bat for couples. There could have been an infidelity. Now, again, it doesn't mean to say there has to be cheating. It can be your side, the other person's side. It can be a betrayal of trust. It can be things that have happened in your life prior to getting into a connection. So it's very broad-ranged here. It can be physically that there was a karmic energy or a third-party energy involved in a situation. But whatever it was, it came undone very quickly, okay? I'm doing pretty good, love. At the same time, like I said, the energies can swap. Now, there is an understanding as to what happened. Now, your energy could be relating more to another individual's, and you feel spiritually you're not being truthful to yourself, Leo, because of what you did, another person did, or it was the way the connection come about, okay? This could be a previous energy. It could be that this is going on very external to you, but it's directly impacting your romantic house. There is a balance coming on your partner's side, though, okay? So they're gaining clarity as to this. It may be for some of you, because there's different energies coming through. Some of you may be emotionally not invested in this person. There doesn't have to be any third-party energy. It could just spiritually be you don't feel interconnected to this partner. And you're looking at it thinking, I'm here, but I'm not here. Okay, so doesn't mean to say they are. It's directly into what is happening with you. If something is loving us, it's always there. Okay, if it needs to go, it's an unsure sense within themselves, very separate to you. That's a them issue. It's not a you issue. You can't control that. But if you let go and you understand everything that is energetically meant to be with you, it'll come to you. We don't hold on so tight so things smooth out, because you're owning your truth of who you are and you know your self-worth. So you're standing in your truth and you're saying, if this frequency was to occur, I know my worth, you'd miss me, and I'm going to stay in high vibration so that you understand what is value and what isn't. So letting that go actually does balance. At the same time, this could be childhood-related dynamics, because remember, we've got the nodes in Capricorn and Cancer. We also have Chiron, the wounded healer, moving from Pisces, which is very psychoanalytical in that frequency in Chiron, moving into Aries, which is very direct. So these can be old wounds coming up. And I mentioned in the previous video, a lot of things for me spiritually coming up are old things, and they're separate to love. They're all over the place. So they can be any way in the way I directly deal with people, to the way I communicate, the way I react. And this is an ongoing thing probably in the last 3 weeks, which a lot of people collectively will be dealing with. You may have been inclined to communicate in a certain way at one point, and now you might find yourself almost being very assertive, to the point you're being very direct. So, and you don't have to be aggressive for that to happen. But when you're going through these points spiritually, you do find that you surprise yourself, but you also can get super frustrated, because when you're having the self-awareness of how you used to be and how you directly on to now and how you used to, a lot of people can be coming towards you reacting the way potentially you did previously. And you could be looking at it going, that's quite gross. I really don't like that. I can't believe I was like that. So a lot of what's coming up isn't that we're reliving the past. It's that we're outgrowing the past and we're letting that paradigm go. So by doing that, you're dissolving that old equation. You're stepping into the new in your truth, and you're creating a new vibration. I'm not having a bad feeling with the couples. I'm feeling it's a transformation. Now, I do know that the position at the moment with Juno and what was the planet, Shelley? It wasn't a planet. I think Juno in Gemini with Paleo, I think it's Pallas or Peleus. What's going on with that energy there connected to your romance house? What's not working? If you fully know a situation isn't working in a relationship, waiting until Mercury retrograde isn't the greatest time. If you feel something is not connected to you, but you've just pushed the pause button and you're delaying the inevitable, it's going to come up in a trigger point every retrograde, and it's at 29 degrees. Now, 29 degrees in a placement with a planet is a major ending, but it's almost gifted. You know how they say it's not over till the fat lady sings? The 29 degree point is well and truly to something come to a close. It's going to come to a close in a very energetic fashion, but it's going to mess up at the same time. You're going to find unconditional love. So, again, I am feeling for those of you who are couple is more an old frequency that's coming up. It can be from your mother, your father. It can be external to you, and something that both of you spiritually dealt with in your families, and you're looking at it and you're looking at your own relationship of how you want it to be different. And that's really what's screaming through in this part. For those of you who are twin flames or high vibration soulmates, now you don't have to be together in this part, okay? Hi, Andrew. I'm talking to Facebook and YouTube, so I'm multitasking here. We've got 23 on YouTube and 5 at the moment on Facebook. Okay, for Leos. Now, I'm feeling you're really wanting to have a love interest, okay, with your twin. You're at that higher frequency. Now, you may be tuning into the maths. You know what you want, but if you get into the fair-based frequencies, what you've got to understand is it's coming from you. If you can release that, instead of how you think it should come about and what it would require to rectify a situation, how about you let that for this, so that you can come to a place that you can feel peace. Even energetically thinking how it should look, how it should come about, can be quite exhausting. And I do feel there is a transformation. If you energetically feel you've changed, releasing it won't be difficult, okay? Releasing it will be peace. Usually in those areas with a conjunction shape or form, major ending of a way of doing something. So with your wounds, it's a really head-on point that's ending that cycle. And it can take, and again, because we had the lunar eclipse, ending out a cycle in astrology at the 29 degree mark, what happens is it can take about 6 months to a year to balance everything out. Because once it hits the 0 degree, it's a new beginning. But at the 29, there's tying up of those loose ends. So with that, what you've got to understand is we just had the total eclipse in January, at the January almost. And then ironically enough, we've got the transfer over from Pisces over to Aries, which is similar to an eclipse. It's a transformation cycle. And that energy at the 29 degree is similar to an eclipse because you've got the clean-up effect. But it's too late. So whatever comes, you're going to have to deal with it now as it stands. be it a wound, be it a 3D situation, it's coming through to actually be cleared up. Now, the energy is at a high frequency. Now, this can be your side or counterparts, but you're dual. You need to understand that. A cycle in this card really does correlate to the 0 degree mark, except it's in reverse. So it's just there. This, to me, mentions 29 degrees. And the reason I'm saying that is because you get the World card, you then get the Fool card, which is the 0 degree, which is the leap of faith. So twin flames, high vibration soulmates, you guys are ending a chapter. It never ends. It's ending a cycle and a way of doing something, or a wound that you've been carrying for too long. So if the trigger points are coming in hard and heavy, it's because the universe is saying to you, you need to let that go. It's not serving you. Whatever your fair-based frequencies are that it can be taken from you, that's going to come up as well. When that comes up, it's not to punish you. It's for you to address it and to release that as a pattern. Patterns actually make us believe things, and it helps us easily with the ego go into self-sabotage. So when we have that, what happens is, oh my gosh, this happened before, so therefore it's going to be exactly the same. It's almost like a navigation system, which is what I mentioned on YouTube. So it's like we've turned the nav man on, and it's telling us the way to the location is maybe, in our perspective, the light, because we don't know roughly how to get there, but the direction in which they're taking us further. So we can then hear the call and say, okay, the machine, which is the ego, the fair-based frequency, is telling me something's going to come. So I need to go that way, which can be the long way around to avoid the conflict. You can then override that system and say, I'm not going that way because I remember how this goes. I'm going to navigate this system myself. Okay, that's what you need to do. A lot of us get into a point in a soulmate twin flame journey where we physically not ready, because we hear so much on the internet, in script, and we know the history, that when we look at it, are we prepared? Even if they come towards you when it is a time frame, hi Ange, when it's a time frame where it's not the right time, there's no wrong time. If a person's coming towards you, a high vibration soulmate and twin flame, if they're moving towards you, you energetically are ready for a transition. The 29 degree point in that point with Chiron means you're ready for a transition. It's not going to look perfect, but that's releasing expectation. It's not going to be, but you're going to have to do the work together, separately or together, regardless, but you're still going to have to proceed forward. The reality is, if you don't do the work on yourself and you fall into that fair-based frequency, you're thinking the person's not joining you. And what happens is you get left behind. Meanwhile, as I've always said, nothing ever stays the same forever. You're not changing. They continue to change and you're back here. You then need to catch up. So the best way is to look at it 2-3 days. Not look at it to the point you think, oh my gosh, nothing's changing. And you're directing all the energy onto that person because it's a spiritual connection. You need to redirect it when you're getting triggered back onto you, and that's going to help you navigate forward. March is really forward movement, but a lot of us, even at a financial level, are going to have to do things differently. You know, it is the year of the pig, but at the same time, a lot of going on with astrology, moving into the age of Aquarius, is doing things differently. So it can be transfer of goods via helping someone. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Let's transfer services. You're going to find we're all going to be doing things differently, and we're going to have to evolve. That can be in our romantic life. That can be in our physical employment life. But when you're triggered, find a way. You gained the tools last year. Apply it to this situation. Singles, surrender and accept what's going on. Whatever's going on within the coupledom, within Capricorn, there's a manifestation of some such, being a 7, okay? I'm hearing manifestation. What you got to get is, what are you manifesting? If you're at your lower frequency, which is your fair-based frequency, you're going to manifest the yucky stuff. If you're at the high-based frequency, and you can literally release it and you're not listening to the ego, because when we're tuning in with our third eye, it's the ego, okay? Because we're trying to control the way it looks. When we're coming to a place of heart chakra, we're at peace that we know what our worth is and what we're wanting to come towards us. So if you're tuning, my partner's always going to do this to me, that's all you're going to get. Because your frequency is saying, I've always had that, so that's always what I'm going to get. So you're directly magnetizing that towards you. You need to let that go, but you've got to stem back in the core wound set, pain, body, experience, ego. Where did that happen previously? Because it's now started to control you, that you're attracting it constantly. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's almost like a magnet that your fear-based frequency is being realized, similar to a event horizon. Have unconditional love for yourself and know that if you're wanting a great Valentine's Day or you're wanting something to change or you're at and I tend to look at Valentine's Day as that freaky meditation time. What didn't I get? What could it have been? How should it have been? All the expectation frequency. I mean, quite frankly, we should have called it Expectation Day. But you're far happier when you have no expectations, because when something does come to you, you are that, wow, I'm with it, so I know if it comes, I know my worth. And you need to have a flower, you need to have a box of chocolates to be worth it. But you've got to believe that and not be triggered by an energy like a gift to define you. Now, when it comes to twin flames, understand that whatever you're going through is as relevant as your twin, as your soulmate, that you are as important as they are, that sometimes it takes some time to tie these cycles out, that you remain in the high frequency, you don't get back down and you let the ego control you and you start getting triggered, because that's going to affect you. You understand that nobody can take what's truly yours. Look at it like they're on a holiday. If you love someone, and they're somewhere else, a person can pass over. Because they passed over, do you stop loving them? No, because love is not about, it's not about paper. It's not about a ring. It's not about getting a gift. It's the feeling, the emotion of what you feel for a person just because it is. So come back to that. That's going to keep you grounded. Don't allow the 14th to trigger you. When it comes in, truth be, you're not going to be prepared. So you can think about it all you like from your third eye. How is it going to look? How is it going to feel? What if they did this? What if they did that? Would that make me feel better? Probably not. But wine and dine yourself. Do something special for yourself. I do feel many of you of Capricorns, be it feminines or masculines, I feel just as you've released, that's when it's going to come in and you're going to go, that's not how I thought it would look. But that's because you released expectation, but you might have had a degree of expectation. Okay, we've done. I actually feel twin flames. How many of you are dealing with the Capricorn? For the Leos. I'm going to pull a card for you guys. I'm feeling an energy where there is a Leo twin flame that is dealing with a Capricorn. Who's on here that is a Leo with a Capricorn twin flame? Because there's a separate message for you. Okay, KK. What are you wanting to know, honey? I feel it's heaviest for you for some reason. Okay. Well, that must be the relevant point. There's a transition happening for you guys. Okay, you may be feeling you need to do more work. It's not about that. So the message for you guys dealing with the Capricorn or having the rising sign of Capricorn and you're the Leo twin flame, or your counterpart is a Capricorn, you don't need to worry. There's nothing you need to do on your side of the fence but let go. As soon as you let go, it's going to flow better. But that's really what's coming through. Trying to... You're trying to break up a TF current relationship. Are you trying to leave your twin flame? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, Facebook, I'm not ignoring you. Triple Libra, are you talking about a separate energy? My TF is Capricorn rising. My ex-husband is a Leo and trying to get my DMs karmic. Keep shifting the energy back onto you. You can't make anyone do anything, right? You can't. If a person is there, it's through choice, fair-based frequency, or a lesson. Yeah, very complicated, very messy, and trust me, nothing's a walk in the park. You won't need to do anything. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Okay, we're going to move along to Sagittarius. Do we have a Sagittarian in the house? Yeah, I know. Any Sagittarians in the house, Facebook or YouTube? Venus and Sagittarius. You'll find, romantically speaking, for all of us at the moment, a lot of us are looking at our foundation at the moment. Okay, so the foundation at the moment is let's get our home front okay. Let's get our finances okay. Getting grounded. Some of you are moving. Mercury retrograde can be purchasing of new vehicles. There's lots of changes coming. Really looking at what does serve you, what doesn't, but trying to get the balance right after all the retrogrades last year. It has been very difficult. There is more Sagittarians, very separate to, what do you call it, love. But love is but no, it is a very fertile time as well with the node in Cancer. So do be careful if you're not wishing to conceive, and that's for any zodiac sign. At the same time as, you know, being super responsible with employment. Sagittarians, you guys are going through mass change, and it is a whole 360 change. I'm hearing woman up, manning up, getting things done, tying up of loose ends. It is really, really super positive for you guys. You're going to have to be patient with yourself moving into the month, though. And again, I do have the Venus signs coming up very separately to just the Valentine's Day reads that I'm doing today. They're pre-recorded. They're released on the 14th. But I failed to record a Valentine's Day reading, so I'm doing additionals. Okay, Okay, reset button, fresh start. So some of you already may be in that position energetically that you've already cleaned up your mess. Now that can be whatever you needed to end out, or this can be the person that you're romantically interested in, but I'm feeling it's more your energy. You've ended out cycles. You know what you want. You've got the eye on the goal and you're moving forward. And that doesn't even have to be a person. It can physically be just knowing what you do and don't want and just going, okay, I'm not going to focus on what I don't want because I know this now. Let's move forward. That you're leaving behind conflict. There may still be conflict around you. You may also be dealing with contracts, legalities, which is very possible with the nodes being in Capricorn. Moving into March, that can be potentially problematic. And that's for everybody, you know. So dependent upon, you know, where your Mercury is in your chart, if it's in the area of finance, it can be coming up for review, so be prepared. I feel very separately, though, at a romantic level, I feel you're leaving behind what no longer serves you. There can be conflict with an ex for those of you who are just recently single, and there can be conflict with children. Others of you directly, I'm seeing a new house. Now, even though this is for Valentine's Day, it's like I feel by that date you're going to be quite firm on what you're wanting. The person that you're wanting to usher in, even if it's just at a vibrational level of what you feel you deserve, they're not ready yet. But that's not to say that can't change in 24 hours. Remember, this is for the 14th. But whatever they're tying up in a sense is not to do with the fact that they're not ready for you. They're dealing with a 3D situation, healing out, ending out cycles. But you've already done that because you're ready, they're not. But it's not to say it's not going to happen. They've got to be ready. So it's nothing you've done on your side of the fence. You need to not get triggered to get to the point where, how do I put it? You take it personal. I'm having such a deja vu right now. Whatever they're dealing with, it is going to be a change for the better. But again, there's the stirring of the emotions. And I'm seeing there can be communication. What you've got to understand is if you're wanting this person, intuitively gauge the frequency. If you're going to pin the energy onto that date on the 14th and say, but I want it right now, I feel you'll be risking it. So tread very carefully and follow your intuition. I feel they are in a knowing they want this. For those of you who have this person in mind, but you need to be careful the way you're tackling it and addressing it, because I feel if you push too hard with where the transition of the astrology charts are, they'll reckon it'll take longer. Couples. Okay, your side, their side, however it works, because the energies can swap, there's manipulation. Something isn't going according to plan, okay? One of you wants this situation to boil. I do feel, and this is a really energy coming through, one of you is sort of making suggestions how Valentine's Day should go, but they already had planned it. So let go of the control-related dynamic, because I do feel that I don't know, love. Mercury shadow period, that's why. I do feel they've already planned something special for you, but they also don't want to hinder you. You know, you've got free spirit between the both of you as well. And at the same time, you might want to navigate the way that date's going to go. Okay? And this could be making you cross because you think it should look a certain way, or you feel they're not going to do something special. And they're just easy go, happy go, lucky, or I'm feeling one of you's quiet, one of you super serious. But it's almost like your flirting technique. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I do feel something is planned and it's going to be nice. It will be something nice. But be comfortable in being your own unique selves. It doesn't have to look a particular way. I don't have a bad feeling. I feel they've already organised something. And yours is the only one so far that's come through. Twin flames, Sagittarius. That'll be right. My brother's a Sagittarian, so I always get amused when I look at the Sagittarius readings. And, you know, Sagittarians do work super hard. You know, when they're really tuned into what they need to achieve, they really do bust their back. They're very hard workers, but they need praise when it comes to the work they're doing. They need, you know, because they do put a lot of work in. I do feel either on your side or your twin flames, you're working really hard. Now, this can be in your 3D life. It can be you've got too many balls in the air right now. You're doing too many things. It may be slightly overwhelming, but you're keeping it going. You know, there is movement happening. On the counterpart side, be it you're the masculine or the feminine, collectively, you've got a lot going on both sides of the fence, okay? It's creating instability. So one or the other has too much going on to a point is causing instability. You need to detach from that and realise it's on their side of the fence or your side and deal with it. Because there is a maturing, but there's going to be a judgment. And the judgment is how much can you get done quick. And I do feel because there's going to be movement quicker than you think. Yeah, there you go. Be still and reverse. It's like you will not have time. This is going to come up real quick. There is movement going to come up in your connection. Be it you're in communication or you're not. I do feel there is an element of surprise and passion. Okay. This surprise doesn't do anything, but it can be. It's not a new chapter because your twin flame connection is something that goes on lifetime after lifetime. So it's not a new chapter. New chapters can be in this lifetime. Again, remember, we're at the 29-degree point, which is it's ending out a cycle as of the 18th. That's a portion of a cycle with wounds. you intuitively will feel it, because when you're tapped into the universe, you feel the energies transforming. There'll be a time when, and when I say that, I mean it'll feel heavier. You'll feel, it can be like panic attacks. It can be, and they come out of left field. So you'll have a knowing when you're tuned in that something's changing. And you could be a bit like a person being pregnant and they're nesting. It's like an intuitive energy coming through, and that's really what's coming through for Sagittarius in that area. I'll stick back for 2. Tonight I will do Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, and that will be for UK. It'll probably be 9 a.m. your time, which will be 9 p.m. my time, and that's for Facebook and YouTube, depending on where you are in the world. I will come back and I will do some live sessions. Yes, and my daughter's decided to join the group, even though she's supposed to be at school. Are you on your lunch break? I should call her my private stalker. I've been feeling super anxious, heavy. Usually when you're going through a clean cycle, something's coming, something's changing. So what happens is you may notice that you're throwing things out. You may notice that all of a sudden you're packing boxes and you're putting things away that you don't need to use, or you're trying to change furniture around. Now, psychologically speaking, if you're changing furniture regularly in a home, you're unsettled in the environment. It may be a clearing in the home you need to do. It can be that physically, spiritually, there can be an energy in the home, or energy is not permanently be there anymore. What's happening? So you can tend to go to a state where you're changing, your environment's going to change, and that's very relevant for the astrology at the moment with what's changing with all of us. So any other questions before I go? And I'll go hang out and do some cleaning, and I do have a lady to reschedule because I didn't realise I'd left Saturday open. Hi, Larissa. Okay, so tonight we will be doing Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini for Valentine's Day. And as I mentioned, on YouTube, there will be, on the 14th, there will be another 12 videos released, and that will be for your romance house. No changes around furniture, but the dresser is still there. That dresser, I tried connecting, if you recall. We'll have to add me on Skype. And as soon as I've got 5, if you add me in there or send me an email, what I can do is you can put the camera on and you can walk me around the house and I'll assess the energy. And, you know, I'm quite blessed at the moment. So if you guys are needing someone to do some clearing situations in your home, you know, if you have the ability to do it and you're in a particular country, touch base with me and I'll be happy to refer you services, because I do have people in America that I can refer to you if you're in America. Again, obviously, America's very large. So if you are someone that does clearing and Reiki or anything to that degree, touch base with me and I'll refer you guys on. And then that way, when I'm doing the sessions and they're connected to, you know, hauntings or Reiki healing, I know my girlfriend Kalma does kinesiology, I can refer you services so we can work together and we can actually share those services. And I know my girlfriend Ange does Reiki, so she's in New Zealand. So, you know, if any of you have anything to that degree that you want to share, touch base with me on the website and I can share that energy through. If you are wanting to make a booking, you can go to the link. And that is in any one of the videos. I do have a donation button on Yildiz readings as well, or on the website, so feel free if you want to keep the channel alive to donate. And I'll see you guys tonight. Which one do I end first? I'll end Facebook. I can't end either. And lots of love, guys, and I'll see you tonight.